Kia ora and welcome into this video on Living by the Stars, where I'm going to be explaining this calendar system. And this particular calendar system, the system that I follow, which is based on a lunar stellar system of time. Now this is a traditional Māori calendar system, and this particular calendar is a creation that was found in a manuscript of my ancestor and also with my own additions. And it uses the different lunar months of the year as well as the lunar calendar to tell time. Now this is different to the modern solar calendar that we follow that uses the sun and the journey of the earth around the sun to give us our 365 and a quarter day year and our 12 months. This calendar system works off a 3-year cycle that's driven by Matariki, and is only 354 days long, that's spread across 360 lunar phases throughout a year. That means that every 3 years we insert an additional month into our calendar system in order to keep time with the position of the sun. So this calendar system is called Te Tautoru Nui o Matariki, meaning the 3-year cycle of Matariki. Tautoru are the 3 stars of Orion's belt, and when they are visible on the eastern horizon, when Matariki rises during the new year and midwinter, that is when we will determine whether or not we insert an additional month into the calendar and where we are in our 3-year cycle. So I'm just going to explain this calendar. Every single one of the lunar months are marked by the rising of stars in the morning before the sun. The first star is actually a twin star. Its name is Pipiri, and Pipiri is the Māori name for the first month of the year. This twin star rises in the morning before the sun. The top star is called Hamal, and the second star is called Sheraton, and they are in the constellation of Aries. To Māori, the first star is Pipiri, and the second star is Ruhanui, and together they are known as Te Tahi o Pipiri, or the first month of the Māori year. The second month is Takurua. Takurua is the star Sirius, which is in the constellation of Canis Major. Now Sirius is a very bright star, and when it rises in the morning sky, if Pipiri is here, Takurua is way over here, that is a sign that you are in your second month. The third star is Te Toru Here o Pipiri. Te Toru Here o Pipiri, or Here Pipiri, is the star Zeta Perseus, and it's in the constellation of Perseus. It's called Te Toru Here o Pipiri to Māori, and it marks the 3rd month of the Māori year. The 4th month is Mahuru. Mahuru is in the constellation of Hydra. It's Alfred in the constellation of Hydra, and when it rises in the morning, it marks the 4th month. The 5th month, in some calendars, it is known as Whiringa Anuku. In this particular system, it is known as Te Rima o Kōpū. Kōpū is a big planet, and it marks the 5th month of the Māori year, and this is the hand action we use to mark that month. The next star is Te Ono o Whitiā-Nono. Whitiā-Nono, according to some traditions, is the place where Hine Tītama, or the first female child, crossed over to become Hine Nui Te Pō, or the goddess of night. And so Whitiā-Nono is the star algebra in Leo. Hakihea, Te Whitu o Hakihea. Hakihea is Min Kent in Centaurus, and that star rises directly above the sun in the 7th month of the Māori year. The 8th month is known as Kohitatea, or Te Waru o Rehua. Rehua rises in the 8th month of the Māori year before the sun in the morning. It is the star Antares in the constellation of Scorpius. Very big red star, and that is the hand action of Rehua in the middle, surrounded by his 2 wives, Ruhi and Pekehawani. And when we get to the 9th month, Ruhi becomes the star that marks the 9th month. And here she is here, Te Iwa o Ruhi, or the 9th month of Ruhi. She is the star Alniet in Scorpius. Te Ngahuru o Poutu Te Rangi. Poutu Te Rangi is the 10th month. It marks the harvest time, it marks autumn. and it is marked by this hand action here. There are 3 stars in the constellation that make up a huge kumara in the sky, and that's when you know when to harvest your kumara. Pautu, Te Rangi, Whānui and Panitinaku make up this very big kumara, and that marks the 10th month of the Māori year. The 11th month is Painga Whawha. Painga Whawha is in the constellation of Pegasus. It is Enef in Pegasus, and below it will rise a month later, Mata, which is also in Pegasus. Now all of these stars rise in the morning just before the sun, marking your month. All of the Māori months, by my calendar, begin in the new moon. Now you'll see on this calendar system, the new moon is rising in the east right with the sun, and that's where the new moon rises every month. And you follow the system from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 up the lunar calendar, night after night, day after day, until you get to the full moon, which is Rākaunui. And this dial is pointing at these 2 stars, which are te tahi o pipiri, so you know what month you're in and then what lunar phase you're in. And then it will descend back down as your lunar phases and your lunar month begins to wane until you get to Mutu Whenua, which is just the night before the new moon. When you get there in the morning, when the new moon rises with the sun, you shift your dial to the next star, which is Takurua. Some people also know this month as Hongongoi, and you follow it all the way up and all the way down until you get to Mutu Whenua or Takurua, and then you shift it again to the 3rd month, and so on and so on and so on. And that's how you can sink in where you are in your month and what month you're in to where you are in your lunar phase. Now there are also some ecological factors or pointers or activities that happen during the different months that are on this calendar, just some of them. Like here we have in Te Whā o Mahuru, or the 4th month of Mahuru here, you will see that there is a bird here. That bird is the pipi wharauroa, or the shining cuckoo, which migrates back to Aotearoa from the islands during that month. And it is a sign that you should be planting your kumara during this month. So here is a ko, or a planting implement. And if you go 6 months later, when you're in Pautu, Te Rangi, here you have te kwekuea, or the long-tailed cuckoo, heading back to the islands, so that bird doesn't stay here for the winter, but is also a sign that you should be harvesting your kumara. So here is the kumara here. There is the pōhutukawa flowering, which is a marker of the 7th month, the kihikihi, or the cicada, which is a marker of the 8th month, and some of the various plants that flower, fish or birds that were harvested or active during the different months. Now you'll also see that there are actually 13 months on this calendar cycle, and that is to do with the need to add an additional month every 3 or so years. And that month is called Ruhanui. Ruhanui is the 2nd star in that constellation of Pipiri, which is a twin star, because at times this is a twin month. And when we add that extra month in, our calendar dial goes from Pipiri up to Ruhanui and then comes back down to the 2nd and 3rd month. So it's inserted in between the 1st and the 2nd month. And there is a waiata that goes with this calendar and hand actions that mark the different positions of the rising of the stars that allow you to sing yourself into the calendar system. So please enjoy the calendar and follow the waiata that I'm about to do with the hand actions to help you best sink yourselves into the system and to learn more about the Māori divisions of time. Tēnā koutou.